Welcome to the Inspection Empire Builder podcast. On today's episode, we're talking about building a company from scratch and how to add team members the right way. Well, welcome to the show. I'm so glad you tuned in today on today's episode of Inspection Empire Builder Podcast. I'm here with Kyle from Wisconsin, and we're talking about building a company from the ground up. Kyle, how are you doing today?
Good, man. Super excited to be here. Always fun to chat with you. Yeah,
man, it's great to have you on the show. We actually had you on the show a little while ago at a Unite conference. We had a couple of people on once, and that was a great episode. And I'm glad you're here back again, man.
Yeah, that was great. I was with Carl at the time, one of my pod members. Yeah, man, it's always fun to be on a podcast you listen to all the time. So it's full circle again. I love it, man.
Yeah, it's great, man. I love it. It's fun. I love doing podcasts. It's a lot of fun. I get to meet a lot of really cool people, such as yourself. And interesting that on that episode, the other guy sold his company, correct?
Yes, he did. He's a single Carl, if you're listening. Good job. But yeah, he sold his company, single entrepreneur guy, really successful inspection business. And it was just, hey, I want to do something else. And quick plug for Dave Ramsey's too. He's a big Dave Ramsey guy. He got me into that kind of stuff too. So he had the financial freedom to be like, hey, I'm getting out of this. And then he has the latitude to really do whatever he wants now. So I think he's starting a contracting business, kind of doing some more hands-on
Nice.
stuff. Yeah.
I love that. That's so cool. I love to hear that story. In fact, a lot of people may not know this, but you had a single man shop and you sold it as well a while back. Is that correct?
Yeah, 100%. So my first inspection company was down in St. Louis. So girlfriend and I at the time were like, let's go try something new. We moved down to St. Louis. I didn't know anything about inspecting and started an inspection business down there. Went really good. Was doing it full time. And then eventually the girlfriend at the time, we decided to get married, and we're like, why are we down here in St. Louis? We got to move back home. So we moved back up north. Her family's from the Rockford area, if you know that Illinois that well. And I grew up outside Chicago. So long story short, we wanted to jump the border. So we moved up to Madison area, but yeah, sold the business down in St. Louis. Like we were talking a little bit earlier, Matt, they're not worth anything really. You're lucky to get anything for it. But if you have a decent enough business, you can get some money for it.
That's true. Yeah. The sales on a inspection company it's an interesting market. It's a very small niche market kind of thing. Not a lot of people really understand it, how it works. And just, I think kind of any business, if you're a solopreneur, it can provide well for your family. But if you're going to sell that business, you're essentially selling a job because somebody's going to buy that and then have to work. And so, the value on selling a job is not as high as a value on selling like a business that runs on its own without the owner's daily involvement.
For sure. It's just like, and it's the agents too. So, even in my company now, we're like, hey, we don't want to work with every agent. We just want to work with the good ones. And that's not just like the high producers or anything like that. It's the people that are good people that want the best for their clients and are going to do the right thing. So just personality wise, we don't get along with some people, and that's just how the world works. And that was a hard lesson for me to learn. It's like, hey, not everybody loves me.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Stop the madness.
It's crazy. Rejection is hard, believe it or not. So when you're training, people are just different. So the agents that love you may not like the guy that you've sold the business to. So immediately you'll have that the atrophy of agents calling back. They just might not like his style. So there's kind of a risk on both ends of that of like, hey, is this guy going to keep doing a good job? And then the guy buying it, will these agents still keep calling me? And at least in my experience, that's not always the case,
Oh, I agree. Yeah. The person who's buying it, because you're different people, you're just different. And, and they grow to love you. And then when that change happens, that's about the time that people who have worked with you in the past are like, well, maybe I should look at other options. And yeah, it's a tough move. If it works, it works. But that's why typically like a solopreneur business selling it is just a lower price tag to try to sell that. However, you build a business with multiple inspectors and maybe you get to the place where you're not in the field inspecting anymore and your clients are used to this. And then all of a sudden the new owner is a little bit less risk, which means you can get more value out of that when you sell it. Yeah. And so then you moved up to Madison, and then you started another inspection company completely from scratch, from the ground up. That's what it's so fascinating to me that you do that. Right. And so now what are the lessons learned? Some of the lessons learned the first time when you said, oh, I'm going to start another one. Was it easier? Was it harder? Did it go faster, slower? Like, tell me about comparing starting up the first one versus starting up the second one.
It was faster, but it was harder in the sense I knew where I wanted to go, and I wanted to get there fast. And then I knew what I need. I had an idea of what I had to do to grow the business. So the first time we started the business in St. Louis, I really didn't know how to market. I was just kind of flying by the seat of my pants. I would go on the Nachi Facebook groups and just like search in the group, like marketing, like how to grow, and like just read what people would say, and I'd just try stuff. So, some stuff stuck, but eventually, coming up here, I started, oh my God, I don't even know the date. I think it was 2022. January 1st was my first like sales day. And by March, I was booked. Like I wasn't 100%, but I had a full-time job doing inspections.
So January 1st of 2022, you started the new business, and like I'm hitting the ground running. Yes. And by just 3 months later, you had a pretty full calendar.
Yeah, it wasn't like 100% or even maybe 90%, but I was doing at least 5-6 inspections a week.
Wow, that's like a sustainable living you can provide for your family.
Yeah. So, but I'll tell you what.
In 3 months, that's impressive. Like most inspection companies don't see those kinds of results. So that's pretty cool.
It was hard. Like it was emotionally hard for me because I had this successful company and I loved my agents. Like we had really good connections, and then we move up here. We're living at my in-laws, who are amazing people. Some of the kindest, the best people I know. But like we had our own house. It was just a very big change very quick. And I wanted to like provide for my wife, newly married, we want to have kids. So it was very, it was my sole focus was just, hey, I need to get this thing up and like start getting back at it. And, even doing it, there's that risk of like, hey, you have that doubt in your mind. Like, hey, what if this doesn't work? What if I got lucky the first time?
Oh man. Right.
It's kind of scary. So, and then just even going out, because again, in St. Louis, I knew all the agents, like not all the agents. I knew my agents. I knew what offices to go to, stuff like that. Well, in Madison, like I've never lived in Madison. I don't know anything about Madison. So you're going to these offices where you just feel like a stranger in a strange land, trying to talk to people.
Yeah.
So that was the hardest part, was like the first 3 to 6 months. But then you start recognizing people. You start recognizing, like, hey, I know this street. There's a Chipotle down that way. Like it makes it a little bit feel more like home. So.
Yeah, absolutely. New city, new everything, starting over, relaunching a company. That's impressive. And so part of like growing from the ground up a second time, I mean, it's that's really kind of cool to see how like kind of quickly you kind of regained your traction and as the business goes. And now, okay, so you were a solopreneur in St. Louis, and then you're up here. Talk to me now. So 2022. So now we're in 2025. So we're 3 years later into this thing. Is it still just you?
No. So we got one full-time inspector. I have another inspector I'm training that will be out in the field in November. My wife has just stepped out from her client care coordinating role to the kind of like more managerial position. And then we have a client care coordinator we just hired, and it's actually her. What is it? Wednesday, third day on her own, answering phones and doing stuff, and she's doing a great job. So we've definitely grown, which is very happy for that.
That's awesome. That's super exciting. Like hiring, getting inspectors on board and going, and operation staff, and man, that's awesome. I know like how my journey was in the very beginning, and it sounds like yours is similar where. In the beginning, you're answering the phone, you're doing everything yourself. Yeah. And then eventually like, I can't do it all myself. I need help.
Correct.
Yeah. And so was your first step to bring your wife on as client care, or was it bringing another inspector on?
So, I think, no, it was. Yeah. So she helped me find people to interview, but yeah, we brought her on. We wanted to grow a family. And part of that for us to, where we were at, we knew my wife and I wanted her to stay at home to help raise, our kids.
Yeah.
So she's a doctor. We always joke she's the most overqualified client care coordinator. She's a doctor in physical therapy. So I know. So she answers phones for the home inspection company, and she does an excellent job. But
it's a little below her pay grade.
Yeah,
just a little.
So, yeah, but basically, we brought her on. We started having our first kid, and we're like, hey, let's get you out of working for physical therapy and start answering the phones for the home inspection business. And that went great for about a year. But now we have another baby on the way. Due in December.
Congrats!
So yeah,
congratulations.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I'm 2 baby girls. I'm really excited. So the joke I say is, it's funny if it's kind of cute if like you have one baby like making noise or crying in the background when somebody answers the phone, but you have like 2 babies crying, and then my wife would be crying like answering the phone. Not quite as much fun. To schedule an inspection. I'm like, what's the address? So we knew we had to change that. So we hired a new client care coordinator. I think we brought her on last week on Monday, and that was a whole kind of learning experience too. I quote you a lot, Matt. I say we're building it in the air. So even people in the company now say it too, like, hey, like I don't know 100% how we're going to do this, but we're going to figure it out. We're going to build the plane.
Building the plane in the air, man. We got this thing off the ground, and it's like we don't have any seats.
Yeah,
we got wings and an engine, and that's it. Yeah, got a fuselage, wings, and an engine, but there's no seats. There's no seat belts.
Yeah, but what I found too is just leveling with people. At least this is what works for me. Is like, hey, listen, I've never hired a client care coordinator and then trained them. So like, we're gonna kind of learn how to do this together. You can tell us if something's not working or if you're confused. Like, I'm learning here with you at the same time, and
that is so good because. Okay, so I hate to cut you off, but that is so good because when you do that, when you're like, hey, we're in this together. Like I've never done this. You've never done this. We're going to do this together. We're going to figure this out as we go. What it does is it creates a teamwork buy-in where it's like, it's not me versus you. It's you and I now together facing the same problem, trying to work on it. Company culture wise, like that is such a fun vibe because and that probably doesn't work for everybody, but it does work in a way of like now your client care coordinator is like, okay, we're doing this together. Yeah. And people want to be part of a team. People want to be part of a winning team. And nobody wants to join a losing team. And if you join a new team, it's just like it's just like going to a new school, like going to a new job and everything. It's like, people are nervous about being the outsider. Am I going to be accepted? Am I going to fit in this environment? And when you from day one go like, listen, we're in this together. Yeah. Like, it's like all of a sudden, oh, I'm accepted. I'm in. I'm on that level of vulnerability and transparency allows that person to realize, oh, okay, I'm on the inside cycle. And especially if you're like, we're doing this is new. We're growing to new places. We're on a team that's winning. People want to be on a winning team. They want to be like in on the inner circle. They want to have the inside track and information about what's going on. People want to be part of that. And that simple little phrase of way you did that just accomplished all that like instantly. I love that.
And you said it doesn't work for everybody. Like the only people we will hire, that phrase will work. And that's something I told, Tyler, our first inspector, I'm like, listen, like if I can't find people that are great, like we're not going to grow a lot slower. And that's just how it's going to be.
Heck yeah.
Then, I can only like think about if I had employees, I didn't like want to have my employee, you know what I mean? Like create this toxic work environment for myself.
Right.
There's no way. I left corporate America to get away from that. Like I'm not going to build it again here. So it's very intentional about.
I love that. Like, only hire the people that you want to work with, right?
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. Like, guess what? You're the boss. You get to pick who you hire, and you're only going to hire people that you want to work with that are going to be a good fit culturally for the company. Correct. And like, how terrible is that? Like, if you hire somebody that you don't like.
Yeah, and like I'm sure there's places that
there's only like 3 of you, you got like 3 or 4 people in the office.
There might be guys you like in some businesses you might need it, but like I guess I have the luxury of saying like I won't grow them. Like that's fine. Like I'd rather just be happy. You know what I mean? But,
oh my gosh, yeah. Well, you're setting the company culture, 100%. And it matters more like in the beginning than it does later on. Like Right? Like if you have 2 inspectors and you don't like one of them, 50% of your staff is terrible, like, God, that sucks. If you have 10 inspectors and you have one that's not so great, only 10% of your staff is terrible, and I shouldn't say terrible. It's just not a great fit. And it's hard to work with. Right. So it's like, it matters more in a smaller scale. It matters way more who you hire than at a bigger scale, because they'll have less influence of your company.
And there's less slack too. Like, there's no slack if you're a small company. Like, nobody can kind of be shirking responsibility and work. So you want the people that are hard workers and like bought in too. So I find that important as well.
Oh yeah. Well, you can't hide, in a big corporation, you can kind of hide a little. You can kind of get by with maybe like slacking off a little bit here and there, or, there's a little bit, because there's so much going on and it's a bigger business. But yeah, in a small business, there's no hiding. There's no slacking off. There's none of that stuff, and I think there's pros and cons to working for a small business, and like that's one of them, right? The other side, one of them that I really like is that it's a very personal environment. I know my people know me, and we're all in this together. And, I had one guy that his wife was pregnant, while he was going through the interview process, and she was going to be given birth probably within whatever the 60 days of him coming on board. Right. And he would not have been in a place to accrue any PTO, because it starts accruing at a certain point, and he wouldn't have had to. So as a hiring bonus, he didn't ask for it, but as a hiring bonus, we offered him 2 weeks of paternity leave for him, paid maternity leave. Right. And so we as a hiring bonus, we're like, hey, listen, we don't do this for people, but we really want you on the team. And we know you have a baby coming, and I know that's on your mind, and starting a new job, you're not going to have any PTO. So we'd like to give you 2 weeks paternity leave, paid paternity leave when your child comes, and normally you have to be at a company a certain amount of time to earn those types of benefits. You don't normally get that stuff day one. But we basically just gave it to him on day one. So you get 2 weeks paid, and you want to take longer, you can, is what we told him. And he was like, just stoked. So he took 3 weeks off when the baby came, and was that advantageous for the company in the short term? No, hands down. That was not a great expense financially. And he was in the middle of his training. And so it definitely disrupted his training cycle. All the things you're like, well, that was definitely not good in the short term, but long-term company culture wise, this guy knows day one that we actually care about him as a person. He's not just a number. So I think kind of like the small business, joining a small business, you have perks like that can come along because people care about you. And otherwise in a corporation, it's like, well, our corporate policy is this, as you can see in the manual, this is how you accrue it, whatever. And it's like, this is just how it is. And this is just how it works. And I like the flexibility of the small business. I don't know. There's pros and cons, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, even Tyler, my first inspector, he loves duck hunt. So he's just like, hey, I really love duck hunt. And I'm like, well, do you just want a long weekend every weekend for duck season? He's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, you get Friday off for all duck season. Just go have fun. And not a great financial decision, because we have tons of capacity. We're booked out every week, 100% of the time. So probably not the best business decision, but man, he's so happy. And it's being able to give that gift to somebody. It's just, I think it's what makes it kind of worth it in a sense too.
Absolutely. Yeah. We have guys that are hunters too. And if they pull a tag out of a certain whatever, the whole office is excited. It's one of those things that's like, oh, you got this tag, and where are you at? Oh, I'm in section whatever. And I've got, elk with rifle during this section. And this is where, and so then all the other hunter guys are like, oh, that's awesome. And so then, as leadership, we're like, hey, listen, this is your tag. This is your window. Let's get those dates blocked off. Make sure you got time for that, and, for sure. And so when you're excited as the owner or the leadership and management, you're excited about your people's excitement, and you do try to create space and time or whatever for them to have what they really love. They feel seen, they see valued. And there's a difference between the short-term gain and the long-term gain that you get, So now it's I have staff inspectors that love working here because they know that if they pull a tag, it's not going to be, I got to request time off. My boss might not give it to me, or, and it's
Dude, that's the worst. Like you earn your PTO and then your boss has to approve it. Like that never.
Right. Screw that, man. Yeah. And in large corporations, you have to put different rails in place, right? You have to put different riverbeds, different banks on your river, because in order to keep things flowing the right way. But when you're in a smaller business, you got 10, 0 to 20 employees, you kind of know everybody, and you can be a little more lax with some of those things, and you can give people some more customized, treatment, and you can do whatever. And everybody understands that's what it is. I had one guy, he was building a house, and he's just like, bro, like, I just need to push through on this thing. And I'm like, all right, how can I help? What do we want to do? I just need to take whatever these days off. I was like, done, make it happen. Let's block it out. Let's make this thing happen. And like, yeah, I'd rather have him out there inspecting houses because, the business makes more money. I make more money. He makes more money. But because we make room for their personal life and find that work-life balance, which is actually a core value for my business, is a work-life balance. We don't live to work, like we work to live. And so be able to create that and then stand behind it and then be excited about them, on this project he's working on, and then he gets it done and we're like, how'd it go? Like, that's awesome. I'm so happy for you. High five, crushing it. And normally the employer's like, thanks for working with me and helping me. And like, absolutely, bro. Like, you kidding me? You work so hard here. Like, and like work-life balance, we talk about it. We actually do it. Like, I'm not just, and they're like, this is awesome. And people love it. And it builds more loyalty with your employees and your staff and your team. And they're like, this guy actually cares about me. And when they feel cared for, it gives them the capacity to care for you. And it's a two-way street. And so I don't know, man, like I love what you're talking about on that too. Like working with your people. Fridays off for duck hunting. I love it.
Yeah. It's easier for them to see the whole picture too. You know what I mean? Because the business is smaller. So you can see, like, hey, this is why we can't take time off, or like, hey, I want to take time off, but this is coming up. It's easier to see the full picture too, I think, for everybody,
100%. Yeah. Especially as an owner, you're able to like communicate like future and vision. You can cast vision so great and easily. And the more people you have, the harder it is to cast the vision and keep the vision, front and center. And so, I mean, being a small business owner, is a great place to be a really good leader, and to develop leadership skills, but those leadership skills come into play in a different way. You got to lead different when you have 5 people versus 50 people versus 500 people or 5,000.
Even for so it was me, my wife, and Tyler. For now, like my wife, Tyler, Matt, and Lena, like, I've already had to like adjust. Like, I'm already realizing the past 2 weeks, like, things are very different. Like, I need to be much more structured. And I hate structure, but like, I know enough about myself that like, I need to start imposing it more rigorously on myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I think that's part of the rub on like being self-employed, right? It's like, man, I got self-employed, so I didn't have a boss telling me what to do. So and now it's like, now I am the boss that has to tell everybody, including myself, what to do. And so I guess it feels more comfortable because I'm the one that sets the rules, but I still have to have rules for myself as well as staff and everybody else. Yeah. It's like, man, I started this to get away from all that, but
I know. Well, even at our team, we do a team lunch once a month just to like, see each other, hang out, like 10 minutes, just like some business stuff. And we just hang out. Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, listen, the rules, you need to hold me accountable to the rules too. So like, if I'm coming around and messing everything up, you need to say, Kyle, you need to stop that. That's another thing. Like, try to show, ultimately it's my call. I'm the boss, but we're all in this kind of together. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man.
Even so during our interview, we did it. So interviewing for our next inspector, was like a whole issue. But one of the things we have is we have our, company values. And every time when I pull them out to talk to somebody, I'm like, okay, listen, I know these are really lame and it's kind of cringe, but we're going to talk about why these are actually really important to me. Because on the other side of that, like I've been at corporate interviews and they're like, here's our company values. Like, we believe strongly in these, and like nobody there did. But we put it out like, this is why each one of these is here. And like, these are something we came up together because it's what we actually are like. It's not just something we want to be. And like, if any of these don't fit with you, like, it's not going to be a good fit. And I'm very clear about that up front. So it's not, there's no unexpected kind of like butting of heads or anything after they actually come on board.
Right. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah. We do the same thing. We have our it's kind of graphically done. So it's, kind of you know, whatever. It looks kind of sexy, kind of, you know, and so, you know, and so we have our mission, our vision, our values and stuff all kind of broken down. And, you know, and anybody that joins IEB, that's one of the steps in our launch program. And kind of as you're getting your business started, you got to clearly define your mission, vision, values, and culture. So we call it our MVVC, mission, vision, values, and culture, and get that stuff clearly defined. And once you do, it's kind of a painful process in my experience to try to get it all out and get it like clearly defined. Once you get it clearly defined, it's easier to have everybody rallying to that. This is who we are, because it's written down on paper and it's easy to see. And so we use that in our interview process as well. And then we take every opportunity. So Danny and I, he's now my general manager, but Danny and I take every opportunity to reinforce the mission, vision, values, and culture in every conversation that we can. And so like when someone, like that whole work-life balance thing, someone has stuff to go do or take care of, it's like, absolutely. It's like, just like our values say, man, we have work-life balance, right? And they're like, yeah, absolutely. It's like, let's not talk about it. Let's be about it. And so we have moments like that. You know, we highlight different aspects of who we are and what we do. And so, you know, one of them is integrity. You know, that's a values of ours, but it's like, hey, you are who you are when you are, all that, like, be the same person everywhere, you know? And then like we talk about failure and like our relationship with failure. And like, guess what? We all fail. And so the difference between a good man and a great man is not whether or not you fail. It's what you do when you fail. And so like, we're going to be great men around here and women. I guess we have females on the staff now as well. So we're going to be great people around here, and we're going to, you know, and we're going to, you know, handle our failure the right way. And so, like we own our mistakes, and we own it fast. Like if we made a mistake, we own it as fast as we possibly can, and we try to fix it as fast as we can.
Nothing will beat perfectionism out of you more than having a small business. Like,
oh my God, right.
I was a perfectionist, man. And like, I remember the day I was just like, I'm not perfect. I'm never going to be perfect. I just need to like get over it, you know? Cause it's
oh my gosh, right.
Walk that tight wire of being perfect and doing the inspection perfect and everything perfect all the time. Man, it took a toll on me. So something to remind yourself, you know?
Yeah. What are some of the things that you struggled with on perfectionism?
Man, everything. I've struggled with that my whole life. Not to get too personal, but a lot of times it's like all or nothing. Like, hey, I'm going to do this perfectly, or I'm not going to do it at all. So that's something I struggle with a lot. And in business, you really don't really have that option. So I defaulted to everything need to be perfect. So like the inspection had to be perfect. No callbacks, but every interaction with agents had to be perfect. You know what I mean? And
right.
Just day to day, I can't, you know, like you slip up, or you're just criticizing yourself of like, hey, I could have done this better, which it's good to have some of that. But at a point, like you're not really adding value to yourself. So I'm trying to think of like a specific example. I'm sure there was, you know, like a callback for something, you know, I'm not ashamed to say we do get callbacks, like things get missed, it happens, and we deal with them and we take care of our clients. But man, those used to really, that would like ruin my week. My wife will tell you all about it. She could tell when there was a callback. And now I just had another callback recently, and, you know, he called me on Friday. I knew I was going to his house on Monday, and I didn't think about it until Monday morning, and it was totally fine. So I don't know, but it's, you know, I'm sure Matt, you could attest to it too. Like callbacks, especially, it's taken me at least 6 years to be okay with getting them sometimes.
Yeah. You know, when I was younger, a lot younger, I don't know, there's like 25, 26 years ago. I worked in a position where, you know, I was still working I stopped working for people about 20 years ago, but, you know, at the time I was working for this company and, dealt with customer complaints within the company. From time to time, I was a manager, and,
what industry?
It was actually a company called Ultimate Electronics. It was a regional electronics store. It was like a high-end Best Buy.
Got it.
So it was like a Best Buy, but only high-end products, only top shelf. They don't exist anymore. The company went out of business, but, it was you know, they had like, at the time they had 16 stores, like it was, you know, a smaller company. They eventually tried to grow, and then I don't know what happened, but they ended up going out of business. But it was like a small boutique chain of high-end Best Buy. And so, but I was a manager over the installation department. And so, but I wasn't the manager over any other departments. But for whatever reason, I had been fortunate enough to be able to develop some skills in conflict resolution. And so when angry customers came in, they'd be like, I need to talk to a manager, and they all called me because I just had a gift at like calming them down. And so even though the other managers, they'd be talking to a manager and they'd be like, you need to talk to a manager. And they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna call Matt, so, and I'd be like, bro, you're my boss. Like, okay, all right, whatever.
Handle this.
Exactly. I'd be like, all right, and so, but something I learned in that season, is that every conflict is an opportunity to grow closer together or further apart. And so, because depending on how you handle that conflict, right? If you find a great resolution, people trust you more because in hard times, you got things better, not worse. And so that this works in marriage, this works in friendships, this works in business and every kind of relationship. Conflict is an opportunity to grow closer together or further apart. And so for whatever reason, I had that ingrained in my head. I don't know, read it in a book probably or something. And so I started really implementing that back then. And so now whenever there's a conflict or a callback or anything that's a negative feedback, I get excited about it now. I'm not
that far yet, Matt.
No, you're going to get there. But like, I know it's sick and twisted. It's funny. I was just talking to somebody about this today on the phone. Yeah. Well, so now it's like rather than shying away from conflict, because a lot of people want to shy away from conflict, I run head first into conflict. And I've been doing this for 20 years. I run head first into conflict now because I get a conflict and I'm like, heck yeah, we're about to get closer together, And it's like, it's an opportunity to build more trust and build a stronger relationship because everybody makes mistakes. And the difference between a good man and a great man is what you do when you make that mistake. My dad used to say that. I've implemented that. And now it's like conflict pops up. I get excited. I'm like, yeah, baby, let's go. And so I run into that thing and I'm like, this is my opportunity to build a stronger relationship with an upset client, upset realtor. I'm not even upset, just frustrated or whatever it might be. It's my opportunity to build a stronger relationship. And so conflict, people run into it and build a better relationship. I think callbacks are a thing. I've heard it said a million times, other people, but I'll repeat it and claim it as my own. Perfection is the enemy of progress. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, and it's like that perfectionism thing. That's like a double-sided coin though, man. Like one side of perfectionism is like you create great product and that it's like the striving for excellence side is like everything, like it's everything I do is excellent. I strive so hard for excellence. But the flip side of that is if it's like you said, what you say, either I'm doing it all or I'm doing nothing.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. I can see how like, well, if you're not perfect, then you're going to do nothing.
Yeah. But like the stakes are too high. You know what I mean? You can't do that in life all the time. And
no.
The lesson was taught to me through business, but I'm sure like now we have a daughter, like it's the same thing. Like I'm not going to be a perfect dad. There's a phrase of like, can you be a good enough dad though? And I think that's a kind of good way to frame it too. I'm not, I'm going to work on reframing it in my mind though, to be like conflict good. We're growing closer. I like that.
Yeah. Conflict is an opportunity to grow closer, not further away. And I've just taken that approach. And I'm telling you, and so it changes the way I reframe it in my head. So now when a customer is upset, when somebody's upset, they can be upset. They can be yelling, screaming. They can just be whatever, being the worst version of themselves. I stay so calm because all I'm looking for is like, okay, we're going to become better friends through this.
How can we connect?
Yeah. I'm like, where's the connection point in what you're saying? Like, you know what I mean? And so then like, I'm like, okay. And I'll tell them like, I tell them straight up, like, I actually see your perspective. I understand why you're upset. The one that I just did was today, there was stains on the ceiling. My inspector saw the stains on the ceiling, brought in a ladder with a moisture meter. It's like, is this wet or dry? And he had, a non-invasive, just a contact moisture meter just to check some stuff. And he's like, it's all dry. And he takes his hand, and he starts like feeling like there was the ceiling to kind of see. Well, then part of the ceiling like caved in because the leak had like eroded to the place where that one spot was kind of.
He clearly broke it. It's his.
Yep, exactly right. So now I got a pissed off seller of this house going like, I swear to God that wasn't there before you got there. And the inspector shows up and now there's holes in my ceiling. And it's like, yes, ma'am. And so I was able to connect with her. I was like, you know what? From your perspective, I 100% understand why you're upset. And she just keeps yelling yelling and screaming. And I'm just like, yes, ma'am, I agree with you. Yep. I agree with you.
I'd probably be upset too. Like that, if it happened to me, I wouldn't.
Yeah, exactly. My ceiling didn't have holes in it. The inspector shows up. Now there's holes in it, And
then sometimes it's like trying to explain the nuance of our job too is difficult. Like the public understanding of what we do and what we actually do is like, they're different. I think that's something as an industry we need to like address.
For sure.
But sometimes it's easier just to get the drywall repaired. You know what I mean? And not like choose your battles, I guess.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Right. And I just said, absolutely. I said, ma'am, I'll take care of the holes. Holes are covered. Like, she's like, oh, and I was like, yep, I'll get somebody out there to take care of it. And she's like, okay, all right. Oh, okay. I was like, yeah, absolutely. I understand why you're upset. I'd be upset too. I was like, how about I send somebody out right now to fix it? And she's like, yeah, that'd be great. I was like, okay. And she's like, oh, I was like, that was easy, huh? And she was like, yeah. I was like, can we talk about the underlying issue that was driving the holes? Like why it happened? And she was like, I was like, your roof is leaking. We have evidence in 3 of the rooms that there's spots staining on the ceiling from the roof leak. And then we have issues on the roof. Like I can send a guy over. We can fill those holes and take care of it right now. And like, but however, what's that?
You said to fix the roof?
No, the roof is leaking. Like, no. I'm just going to patch the drywall. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And the holes, like literally there's 2 holes where 2 fingers like went through. Right. Yeah. So like a jar of spackle, like this isn't rocket science to fix this. Right. And I told her, I was like, I can fix those 2 little holes. I said, but your major issue is this. And I kind of highlighted it all out. And she was like, okay. And I was like, so, I can send a guy over to fill those holes, I can come out tomorrow. I said, here's the time plan when you wanted this done. I said, or you can wait until the transaction, gets closer to the end and perhaps the patching those holes is a waste of time. Yeah. And she was like, okay. I was like, I'll take care of the holes today, tomorrow, next week, next month, whatever, and so she was like, okay, so I was able to calm her down. And so we're going to send a guy with a can of spackle and we're going to fill in the 2 holes that are like literally the size of a dime, essentially.
It's just easier to do that in a lot of
absolutely.
Not all the cases. A lot of the times though, in my experience, it's just like, it's not worth the headache. I'd rather just, we'll fix the problem.
But by the end of the phone call, we're laughing, we're joking, we're having a great time. I'm learning about what she's doing next in life. She's moving to London and all these other things, and she's got this great life going, right? And so,
you're having a good day, and she's having a good day. Like, oh wow, that's crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And by the end of it, like we're laughing, joking, and we're gonna now all of a sudden we're closer together, not further apart. Because during the conversation, I'm listening for a bridge connection opportunities in order for me to build a bridge of relationship and, whether it's like a micro relationship, but looking for those opportunities. And now that it's all done, it's like, okay, now we've connected this bridge, right? And now we have this, now what would have been like an explosive situation that I could have been like, screw you. I'm not doing none of that. Your ceiling was jacked up. All I did was touch it to unshow that it was jacked up, and I'm right. And I'm right. And I can be 100% right. And sometimes you have to make a decision of do I want to be right or do I want to be happy? And sometimes it's like, I'm going to spackle these holes and we're going to laugh and joke and have a great time on the phone. And it's like, all right, I'll get somebody out there right away. She's like, well, I'm out of town all week. And I was like, okay, is the lockbox on there? She's like, yeah, okay. My guy's got lockbox access. We'll come out and just take care of it for you. I'll send you a text message when we're on the way. She's like, okay, sounds great. Oh my gosh, and I got kids in high school. We're talking about kids. We're talking about other things. And at the end of it all, she's a human. I'm a human. We've connected in humanity and we're having a great time laughing and the holes don't really matter.
No, they don't.
Yeah. And now we're closer together. And I know that she's moving out of the country and she'll never use me again. But, but that doesn't really matter. It's like we've taken the conflict and made something where it's better. So run to it, take care of it. I love that. Yeah. And the perfectionism thing, man, that drives, I don't know. I get the perfectionism side of it too. It's like, you want to be excellent.
Yeah, I'm still not perfect. Like if I miss a workout on a Monday, I got to try really hard to not be like, well, I guess I'm not working out this week. You know what I mean? Like it's somewhere built into my brain to think like that. It's not a good habit, but I'm aware of it now. So at least I can be conscious of it,
That's funny. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I'm not going to work out this week.
Well, my schedule's all off. I guess I'm not lifting. But it is what it is.
I missed a workout about 2 years ago and I just haven't gone back. So
yeah, it's awesome.
I'm kidding.
Maybe actually, you'll get back into the schedule, right?
Actually, I tore my shoulder about a year ago lifting.
Oh, really?
And, I had to take some time off, and let it rehab and I should have called your client care coordinator and asked about some physical therapy.
Yeah. She does a good job. She helps me out a lot. So she the dry needling too. So anybody out there, if you ever have like a tight muscle and it just won't go away, they have little needles they can stick in your muscle, and it's like goo. It turns your muscle into goo. It's the best thing in the world. That's a technical description of what's happening too. It's turning into goo. But it feels so good. I'm like, hey, can you dry needle my back? Can you dry needle this? But
that's awesome. So my chiropractor does dry needling, and
that's awesome. Yeah. So you know how good it is.
It's so good. Yeah. I had a major back issue a number of years ago. I got like maybe 15, 20 years ago now. And so my chiropractor, I was like rehabbing from all that. And so I lived at that office, but they did these needles. And so they would put them into my lower back and into my glutes and into my hamstrings and like all the area of the hips and stuff like that. And some of those suckers were long, bro. Oh, yeah. I was like, you're going to put that in where? And I'm like, oh my gosh, and so I can't even look.
You can touch the bone with them. And then sometimes if you really need, they can go in your joint capsule. So they'll go like into the joint to do, I don't know what they do, but they can do it.
But it breaks up like the tension and it just melts it all. It's wild. Yeah. So I actually have something in my shoulder right now. It's bugging. And so I'm going to be at my chiropractor soon, and he'll be, probably throw some needles in that thing and melt it all out. So
get her done. Are you going to the fall mastermind this year?
I am. Yeah. So I'm not sure when this episode is going to air, but it'll probably air before the fall mastermind, which is in November, and it's in Tampa. And so great connection. Yeah. Now we can plug the fall mastermind. Yeah. So the fall mastermind's a lot of fun. And if you're new to IEB, or maybe you've never joined IEB and you want to check it out, I want to tell you the mastermind groups are incredible. So this one is in Tampa, Florida. They move around the country. So maybe that one's not location convenient for you, but they do have them in different parts of the country. And but Florida this year, Tampa, Florida, it's at Innisbrook Resort, which is an awesome place. It's a golf resort area. It's beautiful. If you want to go a day early, hit me up. I'll go play some golf with you. These types of events, I actually fly in a day early and I stay a day late most of the time.
We'll be getting drinks at the pool. I don't golf, but I'll be definitely at the pool Monday hanging out. So
that's exactly right. So I'll be out there early in the morning. I'll play my 18 holes and then I'll go back to the room, shower, nap, whatever. Then I jump in the pool later on and hang out with everybody. And then the mastermind content itself is always phenomenal.
So I'll jump in on that. Like, so I love going to IEB events because it gives me motivation. It gets me refired up. You get burnt out a little bit and you need that spark. And they're not paying me to say this. I'll just say that, but like, it really does. I come back, I'm fired up. I have new vision. I have new excitement about it. And the ones that Mark had been doing recently in the fall is the year planning. So it gives you a ton of clarity of where you are now and where you need to go. And it's structured. So we all have these dreams, but like, what is the saying? It's like, we don't have a plan. It's just a dream or whatever. Mm-hmm. This will give you more structure to get where you want to go. So even from last year, it was just huge. You should be doing your annual planning around now anyways. So I might as well take a trip to Florida and get it done. Outside, I guess, right?
Yeah. And then some people will say, I don't know if I have the money. I don't know if I can afford to do this, whatever. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. What would you say to the guy who's like, I don't know if I want to spend the money?
Yeah. So when I joined IEB, we didn't really have the money. It was my first year of being up here. Like, I just started it and like, we were getting steady, but we had a baby on the way. We just bought a house. Like, we had a lot of things going on. You get the motivation and you're surrounded by other people that will succeed. And you will be inspired, or at least envious enough to want to get what they have.
Envious enough. I like that.
Yeah. And you will be like, for me, at least, I'm competitive. I see what people have. I want to be with them. Even talking with Matt. I mean, I remember I called you, what was it, like 2 months ago? Mm-hmm. And just having the ability to call Matt and say, hey, Matt, I am having a terrible time hiring people. I cannot figure this out. I've spent 8 months and thousands of dollars on Indeed, trying to find somebody. Like, I need help. And I think it was a 20-minute conversation. Matt corrected me on what I was doing wrong, told me his process. And then a month later, not even, I had a really, really good hire working for me now, and I'm training him now. So that upfront cost might seem like it's excessive or high, But just me having that conversation with Matt probably shaved off at least like 6 months of me struggling hiring somebody, because I can just have a quick phone call. And I should have called him earlier, honestly. And that's kind of the lesson for this time. But that's me on my soapbox for IEB. Even if you're on the fence, I mean, again, I would just give it a shot. I don't think they don't lock you in, right? I don't think you can quit any time. Or even
there's not contracts. Yeah, absolutely. And then there's different programs depending on where you're at in your business scale and size. And so, they have one. They have like one that's like a limited course that you can go through. There's a launch program that's basically how do you go from I think I want to be an inspector to I'm a successful inspector running a company. Like there's different levels and categories that meet you where you're at in your business and how do you grow your company. One thing I'll tell you is that every star athlete, every successful athlete has a coach. Every one of them. Michael Jordan had a coach, multiple coaches. LeBron James in basketball has a coach. Tom Brady, one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever do it, had multiple people on his coaching staff, personal coaches helping just him, and so everybody who's successful in life and doing things, there are coaches that coach them. IEB is an coaching network, and that's what it is you have people a few steps in front of you coaching you on how to take the next steps. I got guys in IEB that are coaching me. And then I have the opportunity, like what Kyle was talking about. I'm a couple steps in front of him in my business. And so I'm able to go, this is the lessons I learned in hiring, and not that I'm the best, but I got coaches telling me how to hire, and so, there's it's just, we're all in this community together helping each other out.
You're further down the path in some respects than I am. So you can kind of tell me the direction to go is how I like to think about it. And it's very rare that people have ego or, at least, I got a little bit of ego, but not too big of an ego, right? Those people usually don't stick around. So anybody that's there, you can go up and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. How can you help me? And everyone's always willing to do that. And this is a personal invitation. I'll be at the pool. Come say hi to me. My name's Kyle again. You can sit with me. Vincent, a couple other guys from our pod are probably going to be there. You're welcome to hang out with us the whole time.
Absolutely. Me too. And if you're listening, my personal cell phone number is 505-301-5784. Text me.
That's how I found your number. I think I listened to the end of a podcast. I was like, where is that number again? And then I called you.
Yeah. I throw my cell phone number out there like crazy. And to be fair, literally as we're recording this, I have 126 unread text messages and 250 unlistened to voicemails. So to be fair, you might have to hit me a couple times before I respond just because of the volume that comes in. But I do want to help and I am available, and that is my cell phone number, and I want to, be out there. But yeah, I'll be there too, man, floating at the pool, maybe playing some golf. Who knows I'll be hanging around. Actually, I'll have a podcast set up at the event itself. Yeah. So I'll be recording some podcast episodes. I'll be in the vendor hall, with all the vendors in there doing my thing. So, stop by, say hi if you're there. I'm telling you, we're all here to help each other grow, and build wildly successful home inspection industries. As we raise the tide, all boats go up. So, and so we're in this to help each other out all the way around.
It's great to go and see there's, Paul from West Virginia. Look at wow, dude, he's done so much. I'm so happy for him, from where he started.
Yeah.
And then it's a lonely business sometimes, man. You're driving around doing inspections, especially for solo guy. It's nice to go and see the familiar faces and have that camaraderie. I played sports growing up, so I always kind of feel like I'm coming back with the team whenever I go to IEB events. So just kind of another plug. Uh-oh. Is the internet down? Yeah.
Looks like we may have lost each other on this episode. But this episode has been with Kyle. It's been awesome connecting with you, buddy. And so Kyle, it's been a pleasure having you on the show, and the internet has failed us on this one. And so anyhow, thank you for tuning in on this episode, and we'd love to catch you on the next one and wait, are you back?
Yeah.
You're back again. All right, there we go. I was just going to wrap up the show and close it. So that's so funny. The internet just glitched on us.
I know, I'm sorry, but yeah,
it happens.
We're wrapping up.
Well, Kyle, if someone has questions and want to get a hold of you, and what's the best way for someone to get in contact with you, man?
Yeah. So, Kyle, so you can go to homestart.pro is our website, but my personal number is 630-649-8660. Just shoot me a text, give me a call. And yeah, happy to connect with you.
That sounds great, man. Thanks for being on the show. And I can't wait to see you here in a few weeks in Florida.
Sounds great, man. Thanks again.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. Bye.